Believe you've witnessed it all when it comes to red carpet events? Think again. On Sunday night, Kendrick Lamar made a stunning entrance at the 2026 Grammy Awards, delivering a surprise that caught everyone off guard, both in the venue and at home. He donned a one-of-a-kind Chanel tuxedo that had never been seen before. Never, not even once. The way he wore it and the overall presentation went beyond just fashion. It was a significant statement. It was a daring proclamation, a historic moment that captured the world's attention. And if you happen to miss it, you can be sure the internet ensured it would be unforgettable. Welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary because in Celebrity Rap Life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. Now, let us back up for a second, because this story is not just about a man in a suit. This is about Kendrick Lamar and Chanel building something together that nobody saw coming, and honestly, it was a long time in the making. The Not Like Us singer did not just roll up to the Grammys in some off-the-rack designer fit and call it a night. No, he walked in wearing a tuxedo that was built from the ground up specifically for him, crafted by one of the most legendary fashion houses on the planet, and it took them an absolutely wild amount of time to pull it off. We are talking 207 hours. Let that number sit with you for a minute. 207 hours of somebody, somewhere with their hands on fabric, making sure every single stitch was right, every single detail was perfect, every single inch of that tuxedo was worthy of the man who was going to wear it. That is not an outfit, that is a piece of art, and Kendrick Lamar wore it like he was born in it. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This was not the first time Kendrick and Chanel had done business together, not even close. These two have been circling each other in the fashion world for a minute now, and every single time they link up, something memorable happens. So when people in the fashion world heard that Kendrick was stepping onto that Grammy carpet in something custom from Chanel, a lot of people already knew it was going to be different. They just did not know exactly how different. And that's the thing about Kendrick Lamar. He's always had that ability to make you lean in, to make you curious, to make you wonder what is coming next. And Sunday night, he delivered on every single level. Let us talk about what this tuxedo actually looked like, because words almost don't do it justice. Chanel came through with something that felt timeless and fresh at the exact same time. The cut was sharp, the fit was immaculate, and the details were the kind of thing that only the people who really know fashion were going to catch right away. But even if you know nothing about fashion, even if you have never looked twice at what somebody is wearing on a red carpet, you would have looked at Kendrick Lamar on Sunday night and felt something. That's how good it was. That's how carefully it was put together. Chanel did not just make a tuxedo for Kendrick Lamar. They made a moment. They made something that people are going to be talking about and looking back on for years. And that's a big deal in an industry where moments come and go faster than you can blink. Now, the reason this whole thing is such a big deal goes beyond just how the tuxedo looked. It's about what it represents. Chanel is one of the oldest and most respected fashion houses in the entire world. We are talking about a brand that has been setting the standard in luxury fashion for over 100 years. They don't just let anybody walk through their doors and put on their name. They are selective. They are careful about who they align themselves with and what kind of story they want to tell. So when Chanel decides to pour 207 hours of work into creating something custom for one person, that person has to mean something to them. Kendrick Lamar clearly does. And the fact that this was the very first custom tuxedo of its kind that Chanel has ever made tells you everything you need to know about how seriously they took this collaboration. They were not going through the motions. They were making something that had never existed before, and they were doing it for Kendrick. And let's be real for a second. Kendrick Lamar is not just some musician who happens to be famous. He's one of the most respected artists of his generation, plain and simple. The man has been putting out music that actually makes people think, that actually makes people feel something real for over a decade now. He's someone who has always cared about more than just the sound of his music. He cares about the image, the message, the whole package. Every time Kendrick steps in front of a camera or walks into a room, there's intention behind it. Nothing is random with him. Nothing is done just for the sake of doing it. So when he shows up to the Grammys in a one-of-a-kind Chanel tuxedo that took over 200 hours to create, you already know there was a reason for it. You already know it was thought through from the very first stitch to the very last button. The fashion world lost its mind when the photos started dropping. Social media was flooded in seconds. People who normally have nothing to say about Grammy night red carpets were suddenly in the comments talking about the fit, the fabric, the way the light hit the jacket. That's the kind of impact we are talking about. That's what happens when everything lines up perfectly, when the right person wears the right thing at the right moment. It wasn't just Kendrick having a good night. It was Kendrick and Chanel together creating something that stopped everybody in their tracks and made them pay attention. But here's the thing that a lot of people aren't talking about enough. The relationship between Kendrick Lamar and Chanel is not something that just appeared out of thin air on Grammy night. It's been building for a while now. These two have been connected in the fashion space before, and every time they worked together, it has felt natural. It has felt like two forces that understand each other, two sides that actually get what the other one is trying to do. Chanel is not just dressing Kendrick up for fun. They see something in him that aligns with what they stand for as a brand, and Kendrick clearly sees something in Chanel that aligns with who he is as an artist. That kind of chemistry is rare. You can't manufacture it. You either have it or you don't. And on Sunday night, everybody could see that these two absolutely have it. The timing of all this is worth paying attention to, too. Kendrick Lamar has been on an absolute run lately. Not Like Us has been everywhere. The kind of song that gets stuck in your head whether you want it to or not. The kind of track that defines a moment in music. And now, here he is, not just dominating the music conversation, but stepping right into the fashion conversation, too, and doing it in a way that nobody can ignore. This is a man who is winning on every front, and the Chanel tuxedo was just another piece of evidence that Kendrick Lamar is operating on a completely different level than most people in the game right now. You also have to appreciate the craftsmanship behind what Chanel put together. 207 hours is not a small number. That's days and days of somebody sitting down, picking up a needle, and working on this tuxedo with a level of dedication and attention to detail that most people in any industry would never put into anything in their entire lives. Every seam, every button, every fold of fabric was deliberate. Nothing on that tuxedo was an accident. And when you think about the fact that Chanel chose to put that kind of time and energy into making something for Kendrick Lamar, it says a lot about the respect that exists between them. This was not a rush job. This was not something thrown together at the last minute to get some publicity. This was Chanel at their absolute best, doing what they have been doing for over a century, which is making clothes that are not just clothes, they are history.
And that is exactly what this tuxedo is. A piece of history. The very first custom tuxedo of its kind that Chanel has ever produced. When you think about everything that brand has made over the years, every gown, every jacket, every piece of clothing that has walked down runways and through the doors of the most powerful people in the world, and you realize that this tuxedo is something new even for them, that tells you something. That tells you this was special. That tells you Kendrick Lamar is not just another celebrity who showed up to a big event looking good. He is someone who made that event remember him in a way that nobody else did that night. People who were there said the energy in the room shifted when Kendrick walked in. That is not something you can fake. That is not something you can buy or plan for. That is the kind of presence that only a few people in the world actually have, and Kendrick Lamar has always been one of them. But on Sunday night, with that Chanel tuxedo hugging him like it was made for him, because it literally was, that presence was turned up to a whole new level. Everyone in that building knew they were watching something special unfold, and the rest of us, watching from the outside, could feel it too, even through a screen. So what does all of this mean going forward? It means that Kendrick Lamar and Chanel are building a connection that is bigger than one red carpet moment. It means that this relationship is going to keep evolving, keep surprising people, and keep setting the standard for what it looks like when music and fashion collide at the highest level. It means that nobody should be surprised the next time Kendrick steps out in something from Chanel, because at this point, it almost feels inevitable. And it means that the fashion world should be paying very close attention, because when Kendrick Lamar decides to make a move in your world, he does not come through quietly. He comes through and changes the conversation entirely. Sunday Night was about more than a tuxedo. It was about a man who refuses to be ordinary, a brand that refuses to settle for anything less than extraordinary, and a collaboration that produced something the world had genuinely never seen before. 207 hours of work, a custom creation that had never existed in the history of Chanel, and a moment on the Grammy red carpet that people are going to be replaying and referencing for a long time. Kendrick Lamar did not just show up to the 2026 Grammys, he showed up and made history, one stitch at a time. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.